everyone, welcome to Canadian Bird Nerd. I'm Jessica, and I have something truly magical to share with you today. Back in April, I set up this little nest box with a camera inside, and I got to witness a chickadee pair build their nest and raise a family. It's the fall now, and I want to take a look back at what we got to witness over the summer months. It's early on a chilly April morning and the world is still waking up. A tiny female black-capped chickadee fits into an empty nest box, landing inside with gentle flutter. Once inside, she takes a moment to peek through the small entrance hole, as if to get her bearings and make sure the area is safe and quiet. Then she turns her attention inward, inspecting every corner and surface with careful curiosity, considering whether this could be the perfect spot for her to start her nest. For chickadees like this one, the journey of creating a safe, hidden home begins in mid to late April, just as the trees start to bud and insects become plentiful. Black-capped chickadees are cavity nesters, meaning they prefer enclosed spaces to protect their eggs and nestlings. In nature, they often seek out old woodpecker holes or soft rotting wood that they can hollow out themselves. But a well-placed nest box makes for a wonderful alternative. Once a suitable site is found, both the female and male work together to prepare it for nesting by carefully emptying out any debris inside. The female takes the lead here, but her mate joins in, sharing the duty of cleaning the nest cavity to create a fresh start. Then she takes on the intricate job of building the nest herself, carefully layering it with soft mosses, animal fur, and even the fine plant fibers to create a warm, insulated cradle for her future eggs. Black-capped chickadees are monogamous, forming close bonds with their mates. In this process, the male plays an important support role. He helps scout out possible nest sites, defends territory, and he'll sometimes accompany her on gathering trips, watching over her as she carefully constructs their nest. His presence ensures safety as she works to create a safe space for their future chicks. If you're hoping to attract chickadees like this one to nest in your backyard, a thoughtfully designed nest box can make all of the difference. Black-capped chickadees look for secure, enclosed spaces with specific dimensions to help protect their eggs and chicks from larger birds and predators. For chickadees, the nest box should have an entrance hole that's about 1 1/8 in diameter, just big enough for them to enter, but small enough to keep out larger species. Inside, the floor should be around 4 by 4 inches to give them ample space to build their nest and for the chicks to grow comfortably. The box itself should be at least 6 to 8 inches deep, with a snug ceiling that helps retain warmth while still allowing airflow. Proper ventilation holes near the top of the box are essential to regulate the temperature and keep the air fresh. Adding drainage holes at the base will allow rainwater to escape, keeping the nest dry and safe. Chickadees seem to prefer nest boxes mounted on tree trunks or poles at a height of about 4 to 15 feet, ideally in a quiet, semi-shaded area. They often gravitate towards boxes placed in areas with surrounding shrubs or trees, which provide them with natural cover as they come and go from the nest. To make the nest box even more inviting, consider adding a small handful of wood shavings about 1 inch deep across the floor. Chickadees are natural excavators, so giving them shavings to clear out can make the box feel more like a natural cavity. Cedar shavings or untreated pine work well, and you can often find these at pet stores in the small animal section or at the hardware stores in the wood product aisle. Avoid sawdust as it can be too fine and may irritate their respiratory systems. As for placement direction, try to offer the entrance hole away from prevailing winds to protect the nest from rain or drafts. In North America, facing the box east or southeast helps ensure that the morning sun warms the box while avoiding the intense heat of afternoon sun in the hotter months. Now that the pair has carefully removed enough debris from the nest box, the female has started gathering her first bits of nest material. Early this morning, she brought in clumps of soft green moss, which will form the base of her nest. Moss is a perfect first layer, providing warmth and comfort to protect her future eggs. Over the coming days, she'll gather even finer materials like plant materials and bits of animal fur, creating a soft, protective nest for her family to be. As we observe this process, we will also be witnessing a fascinating behavior known as courtship feeding. The male chickadee arrives at the nest box offering a small insect to the female. This behavior plays a crucial role in their reproductive success. By feeding the female, the male demonstrates his commitment and capability as a partner, which can strengthen their bond. Courtship feeding is not just a romantic gesture, it serves practical purposes as well. As the female focuses on nest building and later incubates her eggs, she will spend more time in the nest and less time foraging. The male will continue to bring her food, ensuring she has the necessary energy to fulfill her vital role as a caregiver. This cooperative behavior is essential for their nesting success and helps ensure that both parents are involved in raising their young. Now let's speed things up and watch this chickadee build her nest. Each year I hang clean animal fur in a suet cage and place additional clumps and bushes on the ground, mimicking natural nesting materials. This provides essential insulation for nesting birds and encourages them to use the resources available in their environment. Here we see the female chickadee starting to bring fur into her nest. She collects various types of fur, including that from small mammals like rabbits and squirrels, as well as fur shed by pets, such as cats and dogs. She even gathers soft deer fur, which adds extra warmth and insulation. Chickadees are resourceful, often finding fur in backyards, parks, and along trails. They snatch up clumps from the ground or gather it from tree branches where it might be caught. When the female leaves the nest to forage for food, she carefully covers her eggs with the gathered fur, keeping them safe and warm while she's away. This attentive behavior showcases the dedication of these clever little birds in nurturing their future chicks. Now let's speed things up again and watch how she fine-tunes her nest, adding the finishing touches for her future chicks. As we slow back down, our hardworking female chickadee is putting the finishing touches on her cozy nest. She fluffs it up with bits of moss and soft fur, creating the perfect little cradle for her future chicks. Once she's satisfied with her handiwork, she'll be ready to lay her eggs. Typically, she'll start laying her eggs just a few days after finishing the nest. On average, a black-capped chickadee will lay about 5 to 8 eggs in a single clutch. These eggs are pretty neat, small, oval-shaped, and usually white or cream-colored, often adorned with delicate speckles of reddish-brown. They're about the size of a marble. After laying her eggs, the female chickadee will incubate them for approximately 12 to 13 days. During this critical period, she remains close to the nest, gently rotating the eggs to ensure they receive even warmth. This attentiveness is vital for the developing embryos inside. Meanwhile, her mate, the male chickadee, plays an important role in their partnership. He diligently brings her food, allowing her to focus on the incubation process without the distraction of foraging. It's a beautiful display of cooperation. As he flits to and from the nest, he gathers insects and seeds to nourish her. This shared responsibility not only strengthens the bond, but also exemplifies the support that's essential to raising their young. It only took our chickadee about a week to complete her cozy nest. This rapid construction is typical for chickadees, who often build their nests within a week to 10 days. Once she lays her first egg, the dynamics change. The female will then take on the responsibility of sleeping in the nest box, ensuring the eggs stay warm and protected through the night. Meanwhile, the male will roost alone nearby, after choosing a sheltered spot in a tree or shrub, where he can remain vigilant against potential predators. We often see the male chickadee enter the nest box to check on the status of the nest and assess the progress. As he observes the cozy environment being prepared, it's clear he can sense that changes are coming. His role will soon shift from being the primary protector of the nest to becoming both the protector and the provider. We now see that the chickadee has spent her first night in the nest box, signaling a crucial change in their routine. The male chickadee enters the nest, approaching her with a frantic energy as he gently nudges her awake. He senses that something is different, and his urgency fills the air. You can see and hear how the female chickadee is not happy about being woken up. The male chickadee stands guard at the entrance of the nest box, vigilantly looking out the small opening. He waits patiently for the female to awaken, ready to start their day together. His posture is alert. Inside, the female remains nestled, still reluctant to leave the warmth of her cozy surroundings. This clearly shows that some birds are early risers, while others, like our female here, won't be getting the worm. Our hard-working female has just laid her very first egg. It's a tiny, perfect treasure tucked safely into her carefully built nest. But the real excitement is just beginning. Now that the first egg has arrived, she'll lay one egg every morning like clockwork, usually just after sunrise. It's amazing how nature works. By laying one egg per day, she gives herself time to gather energy while building her clutch. For now, though, she's not incubating just yet. She's waiting for the clutch to be complete so all her eggs will hatch at the same time, giving her babies the best chance to grow and thrive together. As we take a closer look, it seems this pair might be first-time parents. The nest, while beautifully built, looks a little less dense than what we might expect from more experienced chickadees. The egg appears to be laid almost directly on the floor of the birdhouse, with only a thin layer of nesting material beneath it. This could be due to a few reasons. First-time chickadee parents are often still honing their nesting skills. Building a perfect, cozy nest takes practice, and younger birds may not have the same fitness as older, more experienced pairs. They may also be figuring out the best materials to use and how to arrange them for maximum comfort and safety. Another factor could be time or environmental pressures. If the pair felt a strong urge to begin nesting quickly, perhaps due to competition for nesting sites, or a later start in the breeding season, they might have prioritized laying eggs over perfecting the nest. So while the nest may not look to be picture perfect just yet, it's a labor of love, and we're lucky to witness this pair's first step into parenthood. It's been 3 days, and now we can see not 1, not 2, but 3 tiny eggs nestled in the nest. Each morning, the female has carefully added a new egg, building her clutch one day at a time. Each time our chickadee settles into her nest, she carefully adjusts her position, gently rotating the eggs beneath her. This rotation isn't random. It's an essential behavior for healthy egg development. By turning the eggs regularly, she ensures that the yolk stays centered and the developing embryos receive even warmth and nutrition when she begins incubating. It's an instinctive and delicate act of care. Our female chickadee has returned from feeding to find her nest not quite as she left it. Before she left, she carefully tucked her eggs beneath soft messy material, keeping them warm and hidden. Now as she settles back in, something feels off. A wasp has entered the nest box, and this can be a very serious threat. Wasps are often attracted to nests for shelter or to build their own nests, but their presence can be enough to make the birds abandon their home. The female chickadee may feel unsafe and decide to leave the nest to protect herself and her eggs. But this chickadee isn't about to let the wasp win. When it comes to defending their nest, chickadees are fierce and fearless. They'll often dive bomb, flutter aggressively, or make rapid, erratic movements to confuse and scare off the intruder. Their sharp beaks and quick reflexes are their weapons, and they won't back down easily. Even a tiny wasp can pose a threat, but this determined little parent will do everything in its power to protect its eggs and keep the nest safe. The wasp, once calm and purposeful, is now completely disorientated. The female chickadee keeps poking her head into the nest box, cautiously checking on the wasp's location. With each glance, she's assessing the situation, making sure her eggs are safe and that the intruder isn't too close. Just like the villain in a horror movie, the wasp comes back alive. After all the chaos, the wasp has finally found its way out of the nest box, retreating into the open air. The nest is now safe, but the female chickadee isn't rushing back in just yet. She hovers near the entrance, still cautious, scanning the area for any sign of danger. It's now 19 days later. The mother chickadee gently inspects her nest, where we can see an egg that was removed weeks ago. She instinctively sensed it had not been fertilized properly, allowing her to focus on the remaining healthy eggs, ensuring her precious little ones have the best chance at life. Now we watch as she delicately removes the second egg that isn't hatching properly. It's important to note that in nature, it's not uncommon for some eggs to fail to hatch. Factors such as temperature fluctuations, insufficient incubation, or even the age and health of the parents can contribute to an egg's viability. This instinctual behavior of removing non-viable eggs is completely normal and reflects the mother's deep commitment to her young, ensuring she dedicates her energy to those that have the best chance of survival. The moment we have all waited for is here. It's hatching day. Without hesitation, the male enters the nest, eager to help tend to the new chicks. Now with their eggs hatching, the real work begins. Both parents are fully involved, feeding, keeping the chicks warm, and defending the nest from any threats. This is the hardest part of raising their young, filled with constant effort and little rest. The parents will tirelessly work together, ensuring their tiny brood is nourished and safe as they grow. Using their beaks in a careful cooperative motion to break the worm into smaller manageable pieces, perfectly sized for the tiny waiting beaks of their chicks, the female then lets out soft, gentle calls just enough to stir the chicks. This encourages them to open their mouths. Slowly they begin to recognize the sound as a sign of food and care, learning to respond to the calls that mean it's feeding time. Tiny, featherless, and with eyes still closed, these chicks are entirely dependent on their parents. Soon they'll begin instinctively opening their beaks in silent calls for food, which will set off an intense feeding cycle for the adults. Chickadees often rely on insects to meet the high nutritional needs of their young. To raise a brood of 5 chicks, a pair of chickadees may need to gather anywhere from 5,000 to 9,000 invertebrates, which are rich in protein and fat. These insects include caterpillars, spiders, and flies. Are they essential for chicks' development, helping them grow strong and healthy as they develop their feathers and muscles? After chickadee eggs hatch, the female typically removes the remaining eggshells from the nest. She may either eat the shells or carry them away from the nest to reduce the risk of attracting predators. This behavior is common among many bird species, as the scent of broken eggshells could signal the presence of vulnerable chicks to predators. Removing the eggshells also helps keep the nest clean, as the presence of decaying material can attract unwanted pests. Our chickadee has chosen to eat most of her eggshells. It's not unusual for female chickadees to leave behind unviable eggs after the rest of the clutch hatches. They will often leave these eggs next to the nest or remove them entirely to reduce the risk of attracting predators. As the chicks grow, their rapid development is truly remarkable. Within just a few days, chickadee chicks more than double in size, requiring a constant supply of protein and nutrients from parents. In the first week, they gain about 5 to 10% of their body weight every day. Their growth is so rapid that by the time they reach 10 to 12 days old, they are already developing the ability to fly, and by 16 to 18 days, they leave the nest. Once the eggs hatch, the female chickadee takes on the important role of keeping the newly hatched chicks warm. For the first few days, she broods the chicks, ensuring they are kept at a consistent temperature, as they are too small and underdeveloped to regulate their own body heat. To keep their nest clean and reduce the risk of attracting predators, chickadee parents are very diligent about removing waste. Once the chicks hatch, they produce fecal sacs, which are small, white, gelatinous bags containing waste. The female is typically the one who removes the sacs, although both parents may help in some cases. She will either eat the sacs or carry them away from the nest to dispose of them in a different location. Out of those 9 eggs that our mother chickadee so tenderly cared for, only 5 were successfully hatched and lived through those first few fragile days. It's a reminder that nature is very delicate and unpredictable. In filming this nest, I made the choice not to include the moments where some of the chicks didn't survive. This decision came from a desire to honor the natural balance in the lives of these chickadees. Although loss is part of their story, it's not the story I wanted to focus on here. Instead, I want this film to capture the determination and resilience that these parents show as they nurture their young, and the beauty of life in its most hopeful, fragile moments. For chickadees, every season presents immense challenges. Their tiny frames work tirelessly to feed and protect their brood, knowing that nature will sometimes favor the strongest. It's a delicate balance, and while loss is very real, it doesn't overshadow the heart of their journey. By keeping the focus on their perseverance and care, I hope to offer a perspective that feels both respectful and uplifting, celebrating the spirit of life in the nest. The parent's appearance also begins to change as the season goes on. What started as neat, well-preened pair may soon become a bit ruffled and worn down, showing just how hard they are working. Their feathers may appear a little bit more disheveled, and they spend less time preening themselves, devoting nearly every moment to gathering food or tending to their young. There's a few things you can do to help chickadees during nesting season. Putting out high-protein foods can be a big help to chickadees and other birds with young to feed. Live or dried mealworms are an excellent choice as they mimic the natural insect prey that birds seek out. They can be placed in a shallow dish or feeder designed for insects. To protect nesting chickadees, avoid placing bird feeders too close to active nests. Feeders can attract other birds and animals, increasing stress around the nesting area and potentially leading to abandoned nests. Position feeders at least 30 feet away to allow parents to care for their young without added pressure. Now let's return to the nest, where 5 lively chicks, now feathered and 2 weeks old, are thriving. It's been just over 2 weeks since these little ones hatched, and 8 weeks since the parents first built this cozy nest. Now, at 21 days old, these sweet chicks are ready for the adventure that waits them. Their tiny wings, once too fragile to move, now flutter with the newfound strength as they prepare to leave the nest. It's a moment of pure hope, the beginning of a new life filled with endless possibilities. The world is wide and full of wonder, and these little ones are ready to spread their wings and take their first steps into a new life of their own.